in the opening race, and you've been going through the points, Matt. I think only 2 of the top 5 or 7 scored points.
Yeah, it just shows the rate of attrition in the first race. Only 2 of the top 7 drivers in the championship scored in that first outing, which was Norby Michelitz and Nicky Katzberg. So Katzberg moves up from 5th place to 4th in the championship, and Michelitz doesn't move up, but he closes the gap on Montero, who's leading and still leads despite his absence from here, and Bjorg, who was a well, he was a finisher but well out of the points in the first one, so really closes it up in the top 3, and Katzberg's breathing down the necks as well now in 4th.
Speaking to Honda after the opening race, they really want to try and get Norby Michelitz onto the top step of the podium. Question marks over the fitness of Nesta Girolami's car, and Norby Michelitz, if he can win this race, stands a great opportunity of leaving China as the points leader. Let's refresh. Thiago Montero was the points leader coming into this weekend. He had a testing accident at Barcelona that meant that he's unfit to be here. He was not medically cleared, and so he misses this round. Gabriele Tarquini is in his place, and that means, as you look at the championship points, that Ted Bjork has closed up. Michelitz has closed right up to 3rd. Nicky Katzberg 4th. 25 points for a race win in the opening race, 30 points for a race win in the second race. So do the maths, it's really close.
Yeah, which is interesting politics, because Tarquini, who has been historically a Honda stalwart and, you know, favoured driver from the Italian Yas team, he got dropped at the back end of last year, and Michelitz moved up to factory status, and he's signed for Hyundai to help develop their TCR program. One of the ex-designer, chief designer from Yas Motorsport, Andrea Adamo, moved to Hyundai Motorsport in Germany, and he's heading that project up and brought.
Quite different to what it felt on the outlap, which is strange to me, but also again, the water level on the track has increased. A lot of standing water.
Your car probably feels better, Nicky, because you got fresh tyres on it, and you're going about 70 miles an hour slower than you were at racing speed in the first one. But it'd be interesting to see his reaction when they get up to proper racing speed. But because as he mentions, the track conditions are no better, and the rain continues to fall. Well, we can hear it on the camera lens, can't we?
It's incredibly hard. Look at the conditions now, and it's definitely worse than it was in the opening race, certainly at this stage. And we went green after about 3 laps in the opening race, but yeah, I don't think we'll be going green anytime soon. Mehdi Benani will be given a drive-through penalty for doing a practice start on the formation lap. That's interesting. That's just been released, and Rob Huff is back into the pit lane. So they thought they'd fixed it. They clearly haven't, Matt.
All-Inkle Bob the Builder has not scored well, has he? But I don't know what Huffy's. If Huffy didn't have bad luck this year, he'd have no luck. From what he's been doing, he's, you know, we all thought he could be one of the championship favourites before round 1, and he thought he was going to be one of the championship favourites. He'd driven the car in pre-season testing, he'd gone well, carried full weight, and everything was going swimmingly, and it's just can't do right for doing wrong, and he's gone fast just at the wrong occasions. He's gone fast enough to give himself high weight penalties this year, which is because it's done on lap times, but just hasn't got the points in the bag.
Very apt quote there. Everything's gone swimmingly. Looking at the live pictures, it hasn't for Rob Huff, and you're absolutely right. Starting the season, he's a world championship contender, definitely. He's a world champion, and this Citroen looks as though it's overheated somewhat. They're putting some water into somewhere, or have they got a fire there? I'm not sure. They're trying to cool something down.
Huffy's obviously interested in what's going on, because he's gone.
Yeah, it was getting hot in there, but it's a shame for my money not to see Rob, and that contact in the first race. We talked before, had he managed to get to the front and come away with some big points, you know, mathematically it's still possible for him to win the championship.
Very much so. I mean, he's, with the leaders out, he was very much.
We cannot race in these
Well, Nicky Katzberg's changed his tune for the first race. And he's been through every single increment on the spectrum, hasn't he? Certainly his comments in the first race. If you're the race director, you're just not sure where.
The only thing he hasn't done yet is his language get colourful, which we can normally rely on Nicky to do that. Now Huffy's looking. You need a bubble out the top of Huffy's head now to. Well, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to reckon what he'd be thinking. Alex needs to go up and. I think Huffy just needs to probably hit the bar. That's probably the best solution for this weekend for him.
Unfortunately for him, he doesn't have the fans that greeted Jason Plato in his exploits at the final round of the British Touring Car Championship at Silverstone. Jason crashed out through no fault of his own and was greeted with a pint. Saw that on Twitter. But,
pint of what?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I assume they're his fans. But going back to this is wet, Matt. I know I said in the first race it'll be interesting to see whether or not they start it. For my money, it was very wet. This is definitely wetter. They proved me wrong in the first race, but safety very important. We saw the drivers struggling in the first race to keep the car. You can see Bruno
Carrera in the safety car. He's got all the electronic systems which none of these TC1 cars are allowed. No ABS brakes, no traction control. The Volvo at the front is obviously going to be, in the safety car, I mean, is obviously going to be running all that, and you could see him getting a bit squiffy under.
I agree. Let's ask the fans at home, what do you think? If you were a race director, get in contact with us on Twitter, give us a follow, give us a tweet, at Tom Gaymore, Gaymor, at Matt Neal, TT Racing, and let us know what you think. I think this is very, very wet for my money, and
it's interesting that they sort of debated starting the first race under the safety car, and there was no.
And that was it. What happened?
Yeah, if we had no bad luck, we'd have no luck at all at the moment. Steering rack's broken, and that's obviously from the crash in the first race. The boys did an amazing job to fix the car. All right, we were going to start from the pit lane, but we've been bloody quick all weekend. But they can't start that race. It's so dangerous, you cannot believe. Just going out, the two guys at the back, they can't even keep with the safety car. That's how dangerous it is. Bruno in the safety car can drive faster than we can. It's far worse than we've seen all weekend. And for safety reasons, I think they need to can it, because otherwise, you can hear. Third gear behind the safety car, you can't even accelerate without getting huge wheel spin. And it's dangerous. And I'm almost quite glad I'm not out there, to be honest, because it's that bad.
Thank you.
Strong words from a world champion, and you've got to listen to him there. And if you're the race director, he's somebody that can feed back straight away what the conditions are like, and they don't seem to be improving.
But one of the problems is, Tom, is some of the guys making the decisions in the clerk of the course's box have never sat in a race car in their life, and they don't know what it's like to be out there. They don't know how dangerous it's to be out there, and they just go, oh yeah, okay, we've done a couple of laps under the safety car, let's kick it off and we'll go from here. But you know, if Rob Huff's got a lot of experience, as Katzberg, as a whole load of the other drivers who we're not hearing the comms from at the moment, and I'm sure the sentiments are going to be similar in out of most of the cockpits.
So a lot of the feedback, Phoenix Disco, Andy Robertson and Philip Lane getting in touch. A couple of you saying, let them race to the conditions. It's a difficult one. I think it's too wet. That's my call. Having driven myself, it's a case of not actually being in control of your vehicle at all. So even driving slowly behind the safety car, you're spinning the wheels in third gear. The challenge is that if you get your car sideways, you lose the ability to slow the car down, and it's all very well saying, well, drive to the conditions and your own ability, but actually you're not connected to the tarmac, so that the steering wheel here and the pedals and everything that you use to control the car, you can't utilize any of those because you are actually floating. And we see the red flag out. That's the right decision for Michael. Yeah, Ben Constanduras getting in touch as well. a chap who worked so hard on this championship for so many years, knows his stuff, and he agrees. He says it's a shame race control aren't listening to the TV. But race is red flagged, all cars to parc fermé. The race will not be resumed, so we'll get a sort of better insight into the clarification around that for
race
you
will
now.
not be resumed.
That's a big call now.
So that is finished
call
for the day.
But let's just wait and see what they mean by that. And as
Well,
soon as I
normally
get
parc fermé, you're suspending the race. It's two messages on there. One, the race is suspended.
that's
Suspended
normally what you
means
see.
normally it's coming back. Parc fermé is just the cars can't be touched. But the race will not be resumed. So that means it's all over.
Yeah, normally they don't say that, do they? So that's my point. We'll just get clarification on that. But I think it's the right call. And listen, I'm the first to say if I think it should be run or not, because I'm a great believer. I grew up in the era where we did run in pretty much all conditions. But you know, this is too dangerous. As I said, once you cease the ability to actually be connected to the black stuff, then there is no opportunity to run the race. Quick commercial break from us. We'll be back with the decision here from China. You can see it's much, much darker here in China. The Drivers' Championship is as it was, because the word we're getting is it's not going to be resumed. It's only getting darker, it's only getting wetter. I'm speaking to the Honda garage off air, and it looks as though their understanding is it's not to be resumed. You can see when we go back to live pictures just how wet it is, and it's sad. It's sad for the fans, it's sad for everyone that's gone all the way to China, but in my money it's definitely the right call. And Rob Huff has gained the point courtesy of making it through to the top 5 shootout in qualifying. He leaves China then leading the Independence Trophy, and Thiago Monteiro, who unfortunately had to miss this round, has been granted a lifeline. He will leave China, Matt, as the championship leader.
Yeah, be getting his Portuguese castanets out and giving a little dance tonight, won't he? Just because who would have bet money on that? Him coming away from China, still leading the championship, and if he could get back for Japan in a few weeks' time and win the championship, having had to sit out a meeting through injury, it would be a fairy tale for him and for Honda. So it's who would have bet on that?
Well, thanks for those of you that have joined us on Twitter. Chris Pinkney, Mike Ford, Phoenix Disco, Lee, and all of those that have tweeted in. I think you'll be in agreement that it is too wet, too dangerous now. We heard from Rob Huff, and he's a real racer, Rob Huff, as well, and he's not going to say those words lightly. You know, if he thought it was doable, then he'd be the first to be out there. Look at the conditions. They are absolutely torrential here in China. There's no way we could have run this race.
It's a tough call for anybody to make, but it's, you know, when it becomes safety issue, as soon as if someone gets hurt or if someone is a big accident, then it's easy saying in hindsight, isn't it? So I think it is the right call today. As I say, it's a big call because all the local fans will be disappointed, and you know, obviously the TV and everything else. But
Cheryl Fletcher says, why are all these races scheduled in these countries during wet season? I think the climates have changed, though, haven't they?
Yeah, very good point. It's very good point.
Is there a wet season now? It seems to be that when I grew up, you had the definitive between the seasons. Nowadays, these storms just come in, and you know, very little you can do about them. And we've seen in Japan, the FIA World Endurance Championship, they only had an hour and a half's worth of racing.
Yeah, I think that whether this in Asia, across the Asian continent, is quite freak this weekend. It's not that bad. It's not normally that bad, should I say, but it's been pretty horrific everywhere, even in the World Endurance, across in Japan. They've red flagged it in the end, so it's...
So look at that. Doesn't get much wetter than that, even at Knock Hill, Matt.
Well, no, that's not even... That's a summer's day in Knock Hill. Just
We're going to get earache now, or Flash in his other half. But I mean, you can actually see that's a river. I mean, you'd need a jet ski in order to do anything here this afternoon. They're even taking the signs down, packing up, and that seems to be the flavour of the day now. We've had an opening race. It was won by Esteban Guerri. The main race, well, Nesta Girolami's not going to get his wish. It was his first pole position in World Touring Car Racing. He didn't get his opportunity to race to the flag. I think Alexandre Legui's braving the conditions down in the pit lane and the garages, and we might have a interview coming up. Mark Lover says, why aren't half points awarded? Well, they didn't do enough.
They didn't do a single lap.
That was the key.
Racing-wise, it was only under the safety car. And again, half points, I think, so much, 30% distance has to be covered or something like that. So
yeah, well, it's 2 race laps, but we only did safety car laps. And so that's the challenge, and that is why half points. I mean, I'm not a big fan of half points anyway. You either race and get the full points, or you don't. So many organisers start the race, get the safety car out, and run to the distance that you need for the points awarded, and it's not really fair. Nesta Girolami with Alexandre Legui.
Bebu, a potential chance to win, but no cigar.
Things happen. You cannot do nothing. Now it's even worse. It's getting worse and worse, dark. I mean, the track was completely wet and a lot of water in the straight, so aquaplaning in everywhere. It was really dangerous situation. I understand, even if I won in first place and I want to restart the race because I have a good chance to win, you need to think about the security sometimes, and it was, I think, a good decision.
Makes sense. Thank you very much, Bebu.
well, for Girolami to say that when he was sat on pole at the head of the queue, I think that's pretty noble words, and I think it's pretty honest, and the right decision's been made. You know, he had clear vision in front of him. He could see what it was. He was sat in the pound seats of anybody. But so it's sad for us not to see some action, because the action was it was entertaining in the first one. You could see these guys really having to work hard, but yeah, it's going to be a long flight home for him.
I've just heard that there's going to be some highlights. I'm not sure.
Highlights of packing up, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure where we've cut those from, because we didn't really get going here in the main race, and that's a real shame, but definitely the right decision. All the riders, all the drivers in agreement, and that says a lot for my money.
Well,
Tom
a
Chilton
frustrating
now
situation
with
with regards to
Legui.
your independence points there, but I guess it makes sense. What was it like out there?
Yeah, I actually got on the radio and said, can you tell race control to tell Bruno, the safety car driver in the Volvo, to drive slower, because we all can't keep up. In second gear, without even going to third gear, we were already aquaplaning. It was far too wet. But I was praying. When I saw that Rob wasn't in front of me on the grid, I was actually starting in P4, I think it was. I was really happy because I'd be first of the independents, and that'd be fantastic for the championship. I'd be leading the championship by a nice margin, actually. So I was really excited we were going to get 5 laps behind the safety car to get half points, but because we only managed 3 laps, nobody got any points, so we just got wet. But I got to congratulate my team, Sebastian Loeb Racing. They fixed my front left tyre in under 15 minutes. The car was completely straight, the steering wheel, and felt amazing, even in those conditions. So they did a great job fixing it, so well done.
That's what we'd like to hear. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
So Tom just clarifying the situation there and why we didn't get the half points. We just didn't get enough laps under the safety car, so it doesn't actually need to be green, which is news to me. But there we go. Even the marshals are packing up. They've been brave today. Without the marshals, we wouldn't be racing. A big thanks to them, and they really do get the short end of the straw sometimes to be out in these conditions.
Yeah, they've been working hard all weekend. They had their brooms out all day yesterday, trying to sweep off some of the standing water, and they've been grafting, and they've been out there in all weather conditions.
The unsung heroes.
Oh, Merrick, I think we can safely say that that was the right decision, reflecting a similar situation that we had a couple of years ago.
Yes, unfortunately I didn't have any other chance. We could see that even behind the safety car, the cars could not properly follow. And based on our weather forecast, the situation is not going any better, and also it's getting dark, so the race had to be stopped and cannot be restarted.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, I think that's going to curtail the action, and in terms of our live coverage on Eurosport, it's been a real wet affair since we arrived in China, and we're not going to get at all the second race. That's not going to be doable with the weather conditions, so we saw a great win by Esteban Guerri. From myself, Tom Gaymore, Matt Neal, we'll see you in Japan in a few weeks' time. Bye for now.